master of Pokemon? Do you have the skills to be number one? I want to take the ultimate step, find the courage to be bold, to risk it all and not forget the lessons that I hold.
Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 113 of the Pokemon Snapshot. How are you doing tonight, Josh?
Been 13. That's how old I feel right now, Jeff.
You are old. You had a birthday, so let's wish Josh a happy birthday, everyone.
Thank you. You're going to be wishing me a happy birthday like 3 weeks. Just with our recording schedule, like 3 weeks after my birthday. So I don't accept it.
This comes out a week after we're recording, so we're getting back on schedule. We are finally back on schedule, and we will be on a weekly turnout again.
Yep. So that's all I've been doing. I had my birthday, and then my wife is exactly a week younger than I am. So her birthday was yesterday as of
So
recording.
you're both 36.
Yep.
We were talking about birthdays earlier because Jessie's birthday is in September. She is turning 39 and mentioned how her 40th birthday is
Wow.
next.
You got to do
next
something
year.
special for the
She
big
says
four,
she
huh?
expects something big. I am horrible planning, and I said with all our friends, it's hard enough trying to plan a game night. I'm going to start planning it now to make sure everyone's available.
Yep. You got to. At least they all know what day it's going to be.
Yeah, I already talked to one. She said she was going to help me plan it. I go, good,
There
because
you
I'm
go.
not a planner. I need
There
to
you go.
do something exciting. She likes claw machines. Maybe I'll make her a giant claw machine. But that just means if she's turning 40, in a couple years, I'm turning 40, and I don't like that.
I don't like it either, Jeff.
No,
You were
we're just getting old.
You were 26 or you were 25 when I met you.
I know, so young when we used to just be so young and free, hang out each other's apartments.
Just
Now I have
drive halfway across the country to Disney World together.
Yeah. Now we have responsibilities.
I know. And you have 2 kids, which I don't
And
have
I
those
have
kind of responsibilities. Those sound like terrible responsibilities. Not your kids specifically, just kids in general. No offense, children.
You have 6 dogs, so
I have 7 dogs, and that's only because
7 dogs.
that's only because we had to put the 8th to sleep a few months ago.
I can never keep track of how many dogs you have, but
Neither can I.
speaking of my kids, we took them someplace this last weekend. Well, the weekend of the day we're recording this, it'll be about a week and a half later, but we took them and saw the new Super Mario Galaxy movie.
How was it?
It was good. I mean, here's the thing. It's getting panned by critics, but this movie isn't for critics, and that's what I hate.
Yeah.
I love all the references as the old person, and then my kids love the characters, so I think it hits both of our interests very well. You know, I wasn't gonna talk about this, but Nintendo spoiled it themselves, so I think it's free game if Nintendo
Yeah, it's
spoiled
free
it
game.
themselves.
And probably, I would say a significant portion of the people that are listening to this have already seen the movie, so.
Yeah, so Nintendo spoiled that Fox McCloud is in this movie.
Which is, I wish that, I mean, I know it's for advertising, but it's like, come on, people. I mean, it's gonna make $1 billion anyway. Like, what are you gonna make $1 billion and like a couple extra million from Fox being in the movie?
My question
Or
is,
people
it's like,
knowing that Fox will be in it?
yeah, who's sitting there on their couch and they see this trailer or not even trailer, this poster come over like X or Facebook, like Fox McCloud's in it? I gotta go see it now.
Yeah.
No one's doing that. But if I would not have known he was in that movie and I was sitting in the theaters, you know how much more excited I would have been in my
I know,
seat seeing
you would have
Fox
jumped out
McCloud.
of your seat.
Yeah, my kids be like, "Who's that?" I go, "Shut up, kid.
You don't even know, kid.
You don't know what we go through. He hasn't had a good game in almost 30 years."
I know. You don't know what it's like to play a game that doesn't have a save and you have to turn the Nintendo 64 off while you go to sleep and then wake up the next day and then still lose the
Start
game.
all over again. Star Fox 64 is a great game. I will say that. I beat that game. That was one of the games we had on our Nintendo 64 growing up, and I
Yeah.
played it so many times.
Yeah, that one was a fun one.
But yeah, I'm like, well, Nintendo, why do you spoil it? That would have been so cool. And it would have been cool if other people showed. I mean, they did have the other big thing that Nintendo spoiled is it was cool seeing Wart in the movie too.
I don't even know who that is.
So I texted you that Luis Guzman was doing Wario's voice. I read it wrong. He
Yeah.
did Wart's voice.
Okay, that's why I was confused. I was like, I don't even know who Wart is.
So Wart is the main villain of Super Mario Brothers 2 in the United States. You know, the one where you're throwing radishes, you can't kill people, you jump on their heads, you ride them. It had Shy Guy. It's a game that introduced Shy Guys and Bob-ombs. He hasn't appeared in it. Well, he had a cameo in Link's Awakening, but has not appeared in a game since.
Cool.
So it was cool to see him in that movie. Some other people made cameos. So many I'm going, oh, that's from that. That's from that. That's from that. Even the beginning of the movie, I was excited because they had like the Illuminations logo.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the minions finds a hammer. Then the old Donkey Kong theme from the 1981 arcade game starts playing as they're hammering the logo.
Nice. Nice.
So it was really good. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's not one I'd go see again, but when it's out, probably on Peacock or whatever, I'll watch it again just to see what references
Right. Yeah. I'll
I
watch it with
didn't
my
get.
nephew, I'm sure.
But yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. But yeah, it was a fun movie. My family enjoyed it, but it is so expensive to take the
Yeah.
family to the movies nowadays. You want to guess how much it cost for 4 people to go to the movies?
$63.
It cost $80.
Ooh.
After taxes, the tickets were almost 40, and then after everyone got popcorn and drinks, and that we just got popcorn and drinks, the kids each got a kids pack, and Jesse and I each got the combo of a large popcorn, each got a large drink. It was
Yeah.
another $40.
Crazy. Yeah, I saw Project Hail Mary on my birthday, and we ate lunch before.
Yeah. I know you. You don't
Yeah.
like to buy popcorn at the movie theaters.
I'm just not gonna eat popcorn. I do eat some Sour Patch Kids, though. I'll crush some
Okay.
Sour Patch Kids.
I almost bought them, but I did not. I love the Nerds gummy clusters. Those are
Yeah,
like
those
my
are good
favorite
too.
candy.
Yeah, those are good. So what Pokemon news have we got going on this week?
So again, we are kind of slow for Pokemon news. Not much going on since Pocopia's release. They had like an April Fool's Day activity. I think there was a Ditto who was hiding on your island or whatever. I'll be honest, people really love Pocopia. I only put about 10 hours in and I haven't picked it up. It's just not my type of game, but I played it for
Yeah.
you guys.
My nephew has been addicted to it, so
Okay, I'm glad he
yeah.
enjoys it.
Yeah.
I've been playing lots of littler games. I'm playing one I'm not gonna talk about now. It's a hard rated game, but I learned about this game and it's indie, only like a 10-hour game, and I'm really enjoying it.
What's it called?
It's called One Thou.
Okay.
It is
That doesn't
about
tell anything.
no, it doesn't. I still don't know what the title means, and I'm on chapter 7 of 10.
Okay.
So what the game is, it takes place in 1,000 years in the future, and you learn about this girl named Iris, who all these people in the future worship as a god because she is where they're all from. They're clones of her.
Yeah.
And as you are going, the game starts out. I don't want to go into too big spoilers, but you're doing these things called communions and you're learning about the history of her. So it's kind of like a
Okay.
visual novel, but you're walking in it as a 3D space talking to the characters. So
That's
there's
cool.
slight puzzle elements, but it's more just going through the story.
Mm-hmm.
And so you learn about the girl. You learn she wasn't a great person. You see her in high school and you're going through the stories. And every chapter, they kind of do each a little differently. So one was in like first person, one was in side scrolling, one was like a
Nice.
3D
That's cool.
third person. So it's been interesting. As I said, I'm on chapter, not 7, I'm on chapter 6 of 10. So I'm getting close to the end and it takes a wide left turn and I'm excited to see where this game's go. I was actually playing it right before we recorded and I had to stop and I'm like, no, I need to know what's going on. Okay, but back to the Pokemon news. The only big Pokemon news I have is IKEA Japan has a collaboration with Pokemon Pocopia where IKEA interior designers created an island in Pocopia that people can visit.
This is some strange synergy here, Jeff.
Yeah. They also recreated some of these rooms in their stores.
They just
Not
have
using-
Pocopia.
Yeah, they will also be having a stamp session where you can get 8 Pokemon stamps, but they have not released what you get for winning. And anyone on the family plan at IKEA who spends $5,000, approximately $32, get a Pokemon sticker sheet. And they also have like Pokemon themed decorations for desserts, like just little standees they put in their cake and pie.
Is it IKEA? Is it Swedish?
It is Swedish, yes.
So does that mean that in the Pokemon world, Sweden exists?
I guess. Well, if you go through some of the old Pokedex entries, there's mentions of India,
Hmm.
Arcanines, I think mentions it's from China. So
Okay.
weird things there.
Interesting.
All right, so let's go on to our question of the week. We haven't been getting lots of responses, guys, so please give us responses. I know it's been a weird recording schedule, so maybe we'll get more as we go once we're
Yeah.
back on our regular recording schedule. We had one response to ever ended up liking someone you expected to hate, and Strongest Muffin said myself.
Which is, I'm glad.
Yeah,
Glad you
I'm
don't
I'm
hate
glad you
yourself.
like yourself.
Yeah.
Strongest Muffin, I know you are younger. We've had this conversation, though you're not a kid, is what you told me. You're in high school. I will say this is advice I give anyone. Who you are in high school does not matter in life.
Yeah. Maybe the strongest muffin isn't a physical strength.
All right, but we did get some comments. First, this was on our Machop video. Kate said, I volunteer as tribute to get thrown by a monster child. I told her, well, you have to find 99 other volunteers because he throws 100 of them. And if you, honestly, I suggest people go watch my Machop video. I was proud. I did a cool editing where we talked about, I edited all the sections where we were talking about the weird ways they measured a Machop strength. And I just put them all into one 2-minute video.
We appreciate your dedication to this podcast, Jeff.
It was actually fun. I even text Josh, I'm really proud of how this one turned out. Our Techno on YouTube said, hi, I love your podcast so much, and I am thinking of making my own podcast. And all I have to say is that thank you, our Techno, because we love knowing that we are getting people to want to make their own podcast. It's a fun venture, and we really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, the one advice I had before I started my podcast was just do it.
Yeah, go for it. Unless you steal our idea, and then you will be hearing from our lawyers. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, years ago, never thought I would have a podcast. Well, even when this one started, Josh didn't even think about having a podcast. He listened to
Yeah.
the podcast.
I know. I've just been riding Jeff's coattails for years now.
Also on YouTube, Ethan Zillosaurus said this, and this was our Charizard Chills YouTube video. He said this is the episode where everything changes. Ash becomes less stupid, well, a little bit anyway, and Charizard becomes a unit. And yes, as I mentioned in the episode, we are so happy that Charizard is finally listening to Ash, though I don't know about the less stupid. Now, maybe I'll be surprised, but I'm pretty sure he's still pretty stupid in the Johto, and he doesn't really start getting smart to Hoenn, but we still have a long ways to go before we get that far. And then Toad B on YouTube said, I just put this because I thought this was hilarious. Dude, I wasn't wearing my glasses, and I for real thought Caleb Hammer was talking about Pokemon instead of finances.
Hold on. I don't know what Caleb Hammer
Look
looks
up
like.
Caleb Hammer because I had to look him up too. And it was a video of me because it was our question of the week video. And so it had just me in the podcast.
He looks like a combination of you and your brother.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. Because he doesn't look a lot like you, but I could see he's
But
like,
take off
yeah.
your glasses and you might be able to.
Okay, yeah. Glasses and at a distance. I'm like, oh, Jeff, what's up?
I told Jesse the story goes she said for April Fool's next year, maybe you should see if he'll do a video for you.
Yeah, your hair's a little bit curlier than his.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be curly much longer. I need a haircut. But yeah, I just thought that was funny, so I put that one in there. And then going on to our next segment,
Education.
All right. And Kate gave us quite a bit. She told us that the original Coppertone baby was Jodie Foster. Watch out, Jodie. Josh is coming for your job.
Mm-hmm.
She also said a lot of those feats of strength tricks are doable by normal people who know how to do it. There's a Mythbusters about the phone book one. I believe I've seen that Mythbusters one.
So it just goes to show that the Power Team were always a bunch of frauds.
And for your younger people, Mythbusters was a show on Discovery Channel, I believe. Discovery Channel doesn't even exist anymore, does it?
I don't know. Neither does. Well, the Learning Channel is nothing but reality TV shows, so
You don't learn anything.
none of these words mean anything anymore.
No. Did you guys know that the M in MTV stood for music?
Mm-hmm. I know. And then video killed the radio star.
And then this is my favorite. She educated the Kate from the AI video. She says, that sabbat fact is one of my favorites, but even though it's a French word, it was a Dutch protest method originally using wooden clogs, but the French got the credit since the word they used for it caught on.
Kate, we really all need to get together and go to trivia somewhere. You would be unstoppable, a
I
trivia
know.
juggernaut.
Josh and I were on a really good trivia team back in the day.
We did crush it.
We were in the top 3 every time, and then Jesse and I have started. There's a bar around here, not a bar, a restaurant, because we can take the kids that does trivia. But what I really like is they always do themed trivia.
Nice.
So the last one we went to and we did not place was Saturday morning cartoons. We did pretty good, but there was a team that got almost all of them. And a lot of them were from before our time. There was only one about a show in the 90s, and neither of us have, no one on our team, which we were all my age, and I think one of the people on our team was like a late 20s, so she was a little younger. But the one question from the 90s, no one even heard of the show. It was
That's
Denver
crazy.
the Last Dinosaur. It was like from 98.
No one has
Yeah.
ever watched that, except
Yeah.
for probably Kate.
Yeah. Kate, let us know if you've watched Denver the Last Dinosaur. It was from 1998 on Saturday mornings. But yeah, they did. Jesse and I, just the two of us, well, in the girls technically, got second place on a Disney trivia night.
That's pretty good. Second place is
Yep.
good, but I'm a little disappointed, but
I know.
second place is good.
You know, we've done Disney trivia twice. The second time was just me and Jesse. The time before that was a big team. There was like 10 of us at the table. We got second place again. In
Nice.
fact, we tied for first place. Actually, both times we tied for first place, and then the tiebreaker we ended up losing.
So
the
close.
first time, the tiebreaker though, they had to do a second tiebreaker because us and the other first place team knew the answer, so it couldn't do closest two.
A bunch of Disney adults in there just duking it out.
Let me tell you, if you're going to do a Disney trivia, the tiebreaker question probably should not be what year did Steamboat Willie come out? Because if you're big on Disney trivia, that's something you should know.
29?
Close, 1928.
I would have lost because I'm not
yeah.
a Disney adult.
All right, let's go back to some more education. And this is to my AI self, say Big Burb. She said, for big birds, Andean condors have a wingspan of 10 feet and weigh about 30 to 35 pounds. And then she also, about big birds, said ostriches are tall and usually weigh about 225 pounds. They are typically at least human height, but are flightless.
It would be, I can't think of a fate worse than death than having wings but not being able to fly.
That would be horrible. Like you see all the other birds
Terrible.
and you're just jealous.
Aw.
Don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at Pokemon Snapshot or send us an email at thepokemonsnapshot@gmail.com. You can also find us on YouTube and TikTok. Just search for the Pokemon Snapshot. We post short clips on both platforms, and if you'd rather watch the full episode, the complete video is available on our YouTube channel. And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a rating on your favorite listening app so other Pokemon fans can discover the podcast. All right, Josh, can you lead us into our next segment?
Previously on Pokemon.
Team Ash was out on the water when they ran into the one and only Boat Douche, a cocky trader who nearly turned Lapras into a beached whale incident before challenging Ash to a battle and promptly humbling him in front of everyone. Pikachu got taken out, Charizard came in acting just as stubborn and stupid as Ash, and Tads, Boat Douche's real name, Poliwrath, absolutely poly-wrecked him. Freezing Charizard solid and proving that pure power and bad decisions are not, in fact, a winning strategy.
I feel like our government could learn that lesson too.
That night, Ash stayed up rubbing Charizard like a discount massage parlor employee, giving a surprisingly sweet speech about wanting to be good enough for them to actually work together, and somehow...
Guess that rubbing really worked.
The rubbing always works, Jeff.
When Team Rocket showed up the next morning with one of their weirdest drills yet and stole Pikachu, Charizard finally got his two brain cells to rub together, realized Ash actually mattered to him, saved the day, blasted Team Rocket, and then came back to beat Poliwrath in the rematch, finally turning Ash and Charizard from a dysfunctional mess into something that almost resembles a team.
Excellent.
And yes, that rubbing did really work. All right, so going into this week's episode, which is a little bit of a special episode, this episode we are watching the Pikachu short, Pikachu's Rescue Adventure, or as it is known in Japanese, Pikachu's Exploration Party.
If they had called it Pikachu's Search Party, I feel like that would have made it a better title, but Pikachu's Exploration Party does not roll off the tongue quite as well as Pikachu's Rescue Adventure. Pikachu's Search Party was right there.
It aired on July 17th, 1999 in Japan. That would have been my 11th birthday. And on July 21st, 2000 in the United States. Some world news around this time. The top movie that week was What Lies Beneath. Have you ever seen that, Josh?
I have not. I've heard of it, but I have no idea what it's about.
I did want to put in here also that X-Men was the number 2 movie. That was the original X-Men movie. And then the top song was Everything You Want by Vertical Horizon.
Oh, they have a really good live album that I like called
I never heard of them.
Live Stages. They have a song. Have you seen Bruce Almighty?
I have.
They have a song in that movie you would recognize.
Okay. I haven't not seen that movie in years, but
yeah,
it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good one.
All right, Josh, let's get into the episode.
This is Pikachu's Rescue Adventure, or as I'm retitling it for our purposes because it's a better title, Pikachu's Search Party. We begin this 21-minute short with a full minute of company logos before we meet Team Ash, who apparently needs a midday nap under a tree. While both people and Pokemon nap, a swarm of ladybug Pokemon, whose name Jeff will have to tell me, fly overhead. So I came up with some guesses for what I think these are called. Hold on, let me pull them up. And I did not look them up, so I have no idea what they're called.
Okay.
So they're all really stupid, but they're funny.
Okay.
All right. The first one is Beepin' Boppers.
And boppers, okay.
Beepin' Boppers. The second one is Ladyfingers, like the dessert. The third one is Flubby Wubbies.
You know, I was going to do a joke, but I don't even know if I should.
You probably shouldn't. This one, which I'm going to stand by this one and say that this is a good name for a ladybug Pokemon. Dilly Dallies.
Diddly Dallies, okay.
Yeah. And then the last one, this one's not as good. This is Ferrikins.
Ferrikins.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Josh,
what are these things called?
They are actually called Ledyba.
Oh, stupid name. Beepin' Boppers is way better.
Yes, you have a future in naming Pokemon. Call Satoshi Tajiri right now.
Hit me up. I will go no lower than $2 million.
I'll send him this video. So this was a fun. I'm sure you figured it out. This was actually a new Johto Pokemon reveal.
I didn't figure that out, so thank you for telling me. Togepi, the thing that otherwise acts like a child, doesn't take naps like normal babies and tries to watch the Ladyba's flight. Or rather, the Beepin' Bopper's flight. Flight of the Beepin' Bopper.
I can't wait till we get to the episode that's solely about Ladybug and you just call them Beepin' Bopper the whole time.
Tries to watch the Beepin' Bopper flight, but Togepi can't look up because it has no neck, so it falls over and begins to roll down the mountainside just as Team Ash's Pokemon wake up to see it falling. Jeff, can you fill us in on which of Team Ash's Pokemon will be following for this adventure?
Yeah, so we will be following Psyduck, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Pikachu, Togepi, Marill, and Venonat. Because I guess you only get let out of the team cares about you. I'm saying this, spoiler alert, we did both enjoy this, but can you imagine how much better this episode would have been if Scyther was with them?
I feel like all the Pokemon that they show I know they showed some evolved Pokemon, but I don't know, they all kind of seemed like first evolution or whatever you call them.
Yeah, they were the Pokemon. Small ones because, if Charizard was with them, falling down the hole has no point because they can all fly back.
I know. He was getting rubbed back at camp. And there is no speaking throughout this entire episode except for Meowth and a little bit of dialogue from Team Ash at the beginning and the end. So most of everything we're about to tell you, there is no dialogue. And we will be calling our team Team Pikachu. Meanwhile, Meowth is hiking alone for some reason. Why do you think he's alone, Jeff?
I have no idea. It's never explained. I'm going to guess he needed a break from Jesse and James, after they completely dismissed him during the Bound for Trouble episode.
Yeah, they're really like hot and cold with this Meowth thing because in the Meowth rules episode, they were all about Meowth, and now they're kind of over Meowth.
Yeah. So I guess he just needed to go on his own exploration party.
He needed to clear his head. Togepi comes hurling down the trail, smacks Meowth in the face, and they both go rolling down the hill through some Diglett and Dugtrio and fall into a giant hole, which I'll be referring to as the Sphincter of the Forest. The Pokemon arrive at the Sphincter of the Forest. Team Pikachu arrives at the Sphincter of the Forest. It's a little too late, stopping at the edge to watch Togepi. As they stare in horror, a sound in the distance signals an incoming Psyduck who slams into the group like a clickbait headline, and they all fall into the murky depths of the forest. And that takes us into an absolutely banging theme song. Jeff, can we get a sample of this theme?
Yes. I hope this doesn't copyright us because, and I'll explain later after we play it.
If you're tumbling down and your spirits fall, help's on the way. We hear your call. On a mission, we're united as one. Friends forever, yeah. Here we come. In no time, we'll be at your side. We're a team on a roller coaster ride. Each one of us knows just what to do. Never gonna stop. Searching for you.
So yes, this song is Coming to the Rescue, and it's by O-Town.
Oh, I remember O-Town back in the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has that late 90s, early 2000s vibes. Like, I'm pretty sure this is what the band Four Town is based on from the Pixar movie Seeing Red. It makes sense, and they have kind of the same type of music.
Interesting. I didn't even think about
But
that.
yeah,
I have not thought about O-Town since 2000, the early 2000s.
And that's why I said I hope this doesn't get us copyright strike because it's from an actual named band and not some random Pokemon theme.
Yeah. Well, let's be real. No, whoever owns music rights doesn't care about O-Town anymore. Sorry, O-Town, if you're listening. While this banger plays, Team Pikachu falls through the lower intestine of the forest into some magical area where it's sunny. The physics of this don't make a lick of sense, but some of the beep and boppers are there to catch them in midair after they inexplicably fall like 10,000 feet. The beep and boppers fly them over the land past all sorts of terrain and other Pokemon before the beep and boppers drop them on some leaves that they immediately fall through and finally land on the forest floor. An Elekid approaches them, which I wrote as Electakid because I thought it was because it evolves into an Electabuzz or whatever.
Yes.
So I thought it was Electakid, but I'm wrong. I will at least make corrections to my stupidity. An Elekid approaches them, initially scaring Team Pikachu. Squirtle puts on sunglasses, and I guess it thinks lightning is the same as the sun's rays. I don't know.
Hey, those are the Squirtle Squad sunglasses.
Okay.
So yes, this was before you joined, and we actually, it's kind of timely because we re-aired this episode a couple of weeks before. The week I was sick was the episode I put out.
Okay.
Ash first met Squirtle. He was part of this group of Squirtles causing chaos, and they wore sunglasses. And when Squirtle means business, he puts them back on, or pretty much when he wants to tell people what to do.
Pikachu stops Squirtle, and Pikachu and Elekid greet each other by touching tips. Fingertips, you perverts.
Guess that rubbing really worked.
Just rubbing tips. Fingertips. After the rubbing really works, they charge each other up, and the whole forest is surrounded by electric energy. After they catch a buzz, Team Pikachu is greeted by hundreds of Pokemon. I really love how many Pokemon they show throughout this episode. So I knew when I asked you to do this, you were going to have something to say about it. So Jeff, can you tell the good people what all Pokemon they show throughout this entire scene?
Okay, yeah. So to pull the curtain back on how we do this, since Josh always does the summary, he writes out his summary of the episode, and then I put in my rebuttal so we're not talking over each other. And so I see all this after the fact. He'll always put like, Jeff, we need these sound clips and all that. And I get all this after the fact. And I saw where he asked me what Pokemon they have in this scene. And I'm sitting here like, I can't remember. So I had to go through, watch this scene, and go through it frame by frame. And then as I am trying to get sound clips, I'm finding other Pokemon that keep popping up around this time.
To pull the curtain back behind the other curtain, oftentimes when I ask Jeff to describe things, it's because I'm too lazy to do it myself.
Yes.
So what Pokemon do we have here, Jeff?
Yeah, so in this one scene, the scene's probably less than a minute, we see Caterpie, Butterfree, Weedle, Magnemite, Arbok, Mankey, Primeape, Clefairy, Vulpix, Eevee, Oddish, Gloom, Vileplume, Machop, Rattata, Raticate, Lickitung, Jigglypuff, Wigglytuff, Diglett, Dugtrio, Bellsprout, Weepinbell, Victreebel, Sandshrew, Sandslash, Paris, Parasect, Cubone, Marowak, Pidgey, Pidgeotto. And by the way, I only had Pidgey and Pidgeot, and then the camera pans out and you see in the very corner the back of a Pidgeotto's head. Like, that is one of the ones I caught because Pidgeotto has a red like plumage when Pidgeot
Right.
has yellow.
That is attention to detail, Jeff.
And then there was also Voltorb, Slowpoke, Dodrio, Spearow, Fearow, Chansey, Tangela, and making its Pokemon anime debut, Hoot Hoot.
Thank you for your service, Jeff. We appreciate you going frame by frame. To be fair, most of those Pokemon suck, but it's still a really cool scene.
Hey, I like some of these Pokemon. Pidgeot.
Yeah, I always like Sandslash. Sandslash is cool.
Chansey. I always like Chansey because I think it was I can't remember. I had a game where I evolved a Chansey into a Blissey and it wrecked. It's really fun. There's certain Pokemon that I have affinity for just because they were on a team on a previous game and I just remember them being really well on my team.
Yeah, nice.
But I also think this is a good point because as it's panning and showing all these Pokemon, it's really good part to talk about how the animation is so much better than your typical Pokemon episode.
It looks really good. I love the art direction in this. There are a couple things I'll talk about later because they do some different styles than like the typical animation that you see.
Yeah,
Throughout
it
most of the
definitely
episodes.
shows the difference they can do on a budget. They have the movie budget with this because this aired in front of the movie.
Meanwhile, Meowth hangs on a limb over a giant waterfall only by his backpack. An enormous Gyarados comes out of the water, narrowly missing a midday snack. I did not mean to rhyme that one, but hey. I should be paid for my work here. Pikachu is like, has anyone seen a Pokemon that looks like an adorable cracked egg? And Elekid is like, yeah, bro, follow me. It begins to climb, taking Team Pikachu to the highest parts of the forest. Most of the Pokemon move fine through the trees, but Squirtle holds on for dear life. And now it kind of makes me feel sad for him after he put on his Squirtle Squad glasses because he just looks like a pansy trying to climb this tree. But the short really has it in for my boy Squirtle too. He's not coming out on top in any of this. But when they finally reach the canopy, Elekid points to the top where Togepi sits in an Execcute's nest. And Jeff, that's going to take us to
Who's that Pokemon?
All right, and our Who's That Pokemon for this week is Exeggutor.
Dude, play that again.
Did you like that sound?
No, I was going to say, it kind of sounds like a wet fart a little bit.
And so we chose Exeggutor, or I chose Exeggutor. Josh had no decision in this.
Yeah.
Because we've already done Exeggcute in a previous episode, so I just thought we'll do his evolved form. And Exeggutor's Japanese name is Nasty.
Yeah, that wet fart sound it makes is pretty nasty.
Some basic information on Exeggutor. It's number 103 in the Pokedex. It is a grass and psychic type. Or it does have an Alolan form, which is grass and dragon type. It is 6 feet 7 inches tall in its regular form, or 35 feet and 9 inches tall in its Alolan form.
That's a pretty big difference there.
Well, when you scroll down, you will see it weighs 264.6 pounds in its regular form and 916.2 pounds in its Alolan form.
Okay, that
And
seems like a really light 35-foot tall Pokemon.
And it's known as a coconut Pokemon, the coconut Pokemon. And it is the final evolution is line. Okay, Josh, scroll down so you can take a look at Alolan Exeggutor.
Yeah, I can see that thing being 35 feet tall, but the fact that it weighs less than 1,000 pounds is crazy. I feel like it's very top heavy.
Yeah, so here's the funny thing. So it is dragon type, and this was before Charizard had its mega form. Charizard's mega
Mhm.
form was in the original X and or this was before X and Y in mega form. So Charizard wasn't dragon type, didn't have a dragon form, and so everyone would joke how this thing is dragon type and Charizard is not. I love Alolan Executor. Yeah, he's just goofy looking.
Yeah.
So its name. Executor's English name is a play on executor combined with egg. Executor refers to someone who carries out orders or enforces decisions. Egg ties back to its pre-evolution Exeggcute, which is literally a cluster of eggs. The spelling swaps an egg to maintain the evolutionary connection while still sounding like executor.
It's pronounced executor, like
Ex
the original word. Like
like
an executor of the state.
well,
Or I guess
I
it's a
guess
tur and not a tor, but whatever.
I am gonna let's just go on. This fits Executor. I can say Executor just fine.
Yeah.
Roll as the final form that acts on the potential of Execute, almost like it's carrying out the next stage of its existence. Its Japanese name, Executor's Japanese name is Nasi. This comes from a combination of nashi, Japanese for pear, a pun on no or nothing. This fruit reference reflects its tree-like tropical design, while the wordplay gives it a slightly quirky, playful tone typical of early Pokemon naming. What is Executor based off of? So the Cantonian Executor is based off of a coconut palm tree and a multi-headed creature. So yeah, its primary inspiration is a coconut palm tree. Cantonian Executor is very clearly modeled after a coconut tree. Its head resembles coconuts growing in clusters. The leafy top mimics palm fronds. Its body acts as a stylized tree trunk. This ties directly to its pre-evolution Exeggcute, eggs that evolve into literal coconuts on a tree. Its secondary influence is the multi-headed creature, so Executor also draws from the idea of multi-headed beings. Each head has its own personality. They often argue or act independently. This creates a comedic, chaotic dynamic. This isn't tied to a specific myth as strongly as something like Hydra, but it fits the broader trope of multiple minds in one body. And then Alolan Executor fits the palm tree plus dragon mythology. Its primary inspiration is an exaggerated tropical palm tree. In tropical environments like Hawaii, which is Alola's inspiration, palm trees can grow very tall. Alolan Executor exaggerates this to an absurd degree. Extremely long neck and trunk height emphasized as a defining trait. This reflects island gigantism, a real ecological phenomenon where species evolve differently in isolated environments. And then its secondary influence is the dragon imagery. Alolan Executor gains dragon typing, and its design reflects this. Long, towering neck resembles a serpentine dragon body. Additional head on the tail evokes multi headed dragon motifs, and more majestic and less purely comedic than the Kanto version. I don't know if I would call it more majestic.
No, that thing is not majestic. That thing is derpy if there ever was such a thing.
It is a lumbering oaf. Executor's biology. So, Executor is a tall bipedal Pokemon that closely resembles a coconut or palm tree. Its body and legs are light brown, marked with thin black rings, and it stands on thick legs with two toed feet. Each foot has a light yellow paw pad on the underside. From the top of its body sprout thin green leaves, completing its tree like appearance. Executor has three round light yellow heads that resemble coconuts, each displaying a different facial expression. Each of Executor's heads thinks independently and often speaks its mind, creating a constant stream of chatter. Despite this, they rarely argue and generally coexist peacefully. However, if all three heads want to move in different directions, the body becomes unable to move at all. The heads can also communicate telepathically and sometimes use this ability to reach a shared decision. In battle, Executor uses psychic powers, and because all three heads can contribute, its strength is effectively tripled. If one head grows too large, it may fall off and regroup with others to form an Execute, which is one of the rare instances of saying a Pokemon will devolve.
Oh, I've never even thought of that.
Yeah. So head falls off and becomes an Execute. What kind of like Slowpoke, what if the shelter comes off a Slowbro? Does it become a Slowpoke again? Executor has also been observed living in groups, indicating it is not a solitary Pokemon. It is sometimes referred to as the walking tropical rainforest or the walking jungle, though it can become sluggish on cloudy days due to reduced sunlight. Because it evolves using an evolution stone, it is rarely found in the wild, but it can inhabit forests and jungles. Executor and its pre-evolution Execute are the only known Pokemon capable of learning the move Barrage. Executor also has a regional form, Alolan Executor. In the Alolan region, where sunlight is abundant, Executor grow to over 5 times the height of their Cantonian counterparts. This environment is considered ideal for them. Alolan Executor has a much longer and thinner neck, making it resemble a towering tropical palm tree rather than the shorter form seen in other regions. It also has a long tapering tail tipped with 2 leaves and a fourth light green head. This additional head can act independently, defending the rear and using weak telepathy to scan the surroundings. Alolan Executor can also use its long neck like a whip, striking enemies with its hardened head. Ow, can you imagine that?
Mm. That's how the heads fall off.
However, this extended neck can be a weakness, as excessive movement may leave it dizzy. Its increased height reduces its reliance on psychic defenses, and instead it develops draconic abilities, causing its psychic power to diminish. Ancient carvings and murals depict Alolan Executor, suggesting it has existed for a very long time. It is considered a symbol of pride in the Alola region, with locals believing this is Executor's true form. Its immense size makes it the tallest and heaviest grass-type Pokemon. It can be found on Executor Island, a former trial site shaped like the Pokemon itself and home to many wild Executor, as well as in the coastal biome of Blueberry Academy's terrarium, where Alola's environment is recreated. In Generation 7, its signature move was Dragon Hammer, though it could later be passed to other Pokemon like Tropius through breeding. Alright, let's go into some Pokedex entries on Executor. Red and Blue says, legend has it that on rare occasions one of its heads will drop off and continue on as an Execute. Pokemon Yellow says, its cries are very noisy. This is because each of the 3 heads thinks about whatever it likes. It's just a weird statement.
It's really weird.
And I will say these older Pokedex entries, I've always they're all just like they didn't know how big this was going to become and everything.
They might have put a little bit more thought into it if they had known.
The Pokemon Stadium says each of the fruits is an independently thinking head. It is said that if one drops off, it becomes an Execute. Pokemon Gold says its 3 heads think independently. However, they are friendly and never appear to squabble. Pokemon Silver says if a head drops off, it emits a telepathic call in search of others to form an Execute cluster. Pokemon Crystal says living in a good environment makes it grow lots of heads. A head that drops off becomes an Execute. Ruby and Sapphire says Executor originally came from the tropics. Its heads steadily grow larger from exposure to strong sunlight. It is said that when the heads fall off, they group together to form Execute. So a lot of these just mention that heads fall off, it becomes Execute.
Yeah.
Fire Red says it is called the walking tropical rainforest. Each of the nuts has a face and will of its own.
That's quite a statement, too.
Each Pokemon Sun says each of its heads has its own will. They use telepathy to discuss their plans before coming to a joint decision. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl says it is called the walking jungle. If a head grows too big, it falls off and becomes an Execute. Pokemon Moon says when time comes, one of its 3 heads falls off before long. The fallen head grows into an Execute. Pokemon Ultra Sun says it engages its enemies using psychic powers. Each of its 3 heads fire off psychokinetic energy, tripling its power. Pokemon Ultra Moon says each of its 3 heads has its own thoughts. When they want to go in different directions, Executor becomes unable to move. Pokemon Sword says each of Executor's 3 heads is thinking different thoughts. The 3 don't seem to be very interested in one another. And then Pokemon Shield says when they work together, Executor's 3 heads can put out powerful psychic energy. Cloudy days make this Pokemon sluggish. And then some Pokedex entries on its Alolan form. Pokemon Sun says Alola is the best environment for this Pokemon. Local people take pride in its appearance, saying this is how Executor ought to look. Again, one of those weird, this has nothing based in science for this scientific encyclopedia. Pokemon Moon says, as it grows taller and taller, it outgrew its reliance on psychic powers, while within it awakened the power of the sleeping dragon. Ultra Sun says, Executor is the pride of the Alolan people. Its image is carved into historical buildings and murals. And then Ultra Moon says, it swings its long neck like a whip and smacks its opponents. This makes Executor itself dizzy too.
Yeah, who would
Let's
have
go-
thought headbutting people would make you dizzy too?
Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee says, the strong sunlight of the Alola region has awakened the power hidden within Exeggcute. This is the result. Pokemon Sword says, blazing sunlight has brought out the true form and powers of this Pokemon. And then Pokemon Shield says, this Pokemon's psychic powers aren't as strong as they once were. The head on this Executor's tail scans surrounding areas with weak telepathy.
I just want to say that you should be proud of me for all this talk about heads and having a will of their own throughout this entire segment. I did not make one joke, so I think you should be proud of me.
Even mentioned nuts at one point.
Oh, I
More than
giggled
one
at that. That got a giggle out of me. Titter even, but not one mention of the heads having a will of their own.
All right.
I'm growing. I'm learning.
And that is our Who's That Pokemon segment on Exeggutor.
Who's that Pokemon?
Back in the episode, Team Pikachu tries to grab Togepi, but the Exeggcute is like, nah. But they do follow the Togepi around everywhere that it goes. Jeff, can we get some sound of the Exeggcute here? I thought it was funny.
So, with this, can we assume that Exeggutor climbed this tree to lay these eggs?
I would guess so. Or
It has
it
no
climbed up
arms.
there and just started punching one of its heads as hard as it could until it fell off.
This is also a good time to point out that the Japanese, so you've mentioned how there is no sound, like no dialogue during this whole video episode. The Japanese version actually has a narrator explaining everything that is going on. During this part, she explains that an Exeggcute should have 6 pieces, and this one only has 5, so it thinks Togepi is part of the Exeggcute. Which
that
makes
makes
sense
sense.
why it won't let them take Togepi.
Yeah. Pikachu seems to have an idea. So Team Pikachu heads through a tree, like there's like a tunnel in the tree or something. And they come through into a weird grassy cave area just as an entire course of Pokemon begins a show tune. Jeff, can we get a description and sound of what happens here? Because it's quite strange.
Do you want the description or the sound first?
Give us the sound first.
Okay.
No, give us the description first.
Give it the description first?
No, give
Alright,
us the sound. No, give us the sound first. I'm just messing with you.
What do you want?
Give us the description first, actually.
All right, so like they go into this clearing and there's Bellossom, which again, another new Pokemon, and they all just start introducing themselves. And when they say their names, they jump up and there's like all this dancing going on. And then it leads to this final scene that honestly kind of looks like the end of Be Our Guest from Beauty and the Beast with all the dishes and everything, and it's just a bunch of Pokemon. And also, I'm going to point out, you're going to hear them say Poliwrath. It is not a Poliwrath, it is a Politoad. Not Politoad, a Poliwhirl.
Yeah.
It said the wrong thing, but here is their dance.
Bellossom.
Squirtle!
Poliwrath.
Tentacool.
Poliwrath.
I just love the fact that there's like a Charmeleon backstage with like a headset on, like, and of places everyone, and a 5, 6, 7, 8. Soon after, some Clefairy do something. I don't even know what they do, to be honest with you. They like fart rays of light or something like that, and they blast Team Pikachu with the ray of light, sending them flying back into the forest where they land on bouncing leaves, which they then bounce to the top of the forest.
Yeah, this was Clefairy doing its metronome attack like Togepi did during the recent episode.
Oh, okay. That can't be right. They were farting rays of light, Jeff.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Meowth, still hanging from the limb, hears their cries as they fly up and knock him off before landing on a Snorlax's stomach, bouncing off of it, and finally landing in the Gyarados' giant pool. Gyarados begins to swim up the waterfall. I don't know, I guess Gyarados are like salmon, the salmons of Capistrano, with Team Pikachu hanging on for dear life. Meowth tries to kick Pikachu off, but Pikachu electroshocks everything, and Gyarados sends them all flying. Meowth yells, "Looks like I'm blasting off alone!" But plot armor Team Pikachu lands back in the forest. Out of nowhere, a terrible storm appears, and the 1,000-mile-per-hour winds threaten to carry off the lighter Pokemon. Togepi and Exeggcute are only saved by Bulbasaur's Vine Whip, but as the winds pick up, more stronger Pokemon run in to save the little guys. As the rain begins to pour, thunder starts to boom, and a violent lightning fills the sky. At this point, Pikachu does one of the dopest things I've ever seen on this show. Pikachu climbs out of the trees and begins to battle the lightning, deflecting it away from the tree with its own bolts. The art direction in this scene is really cool too. The trees are moving like an oil painting. It's not like fluid animation. It's really cool. It's honestly one of the best shots I've ever seen in the show.
Yeah. It was really cool. And as I said, it's like we're not seeing the trees move. We're kind of going like one frame, then the next frame.
Mm-hmm.
I almost describe it kind of like when you see, if any of you ever watched like Bambi from then, it kind of looks kind of like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pikachu grows tired, but Elekid arrives to help fend off the lightning strikes. The other Pokemon look on in awe as Pikachu and Elekid battle Zeus, but Zeus is a douche and strikes the tree, catching it on fire. It's like such a cheap shot from the lightning god. Luckily, Squirtle and Marill are quick to put it out.
I will say, I always love these moments where it shows the Pokemon all working together and using their abilities.
Yeah, Squirtle finally got his moment to shine here.
Yeah, after almost dying in that tree.
Exactly. Things just seem to keep getting worse as the winds pick up, lifting Togepi and Exeggcute into the air. Bulbasaur catches it again, but the Bulbasaur is lifted into the air because it's dumb and didn't evolve when it had the chance.
I am so proud of you, Josh. You actually remembered something from before the hiatus.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's finally time that I get my roses here, Jeff. Machop grabs Bulbasaur, but it is also lifted into the air, and one by one, the same thing happens to all of Team Pikachu plus a bunch of the forest Pokemon. Finally, Elekid and Pikachu arrive and grab the Pokemon line, but they too are lifted into the air just as Psyduck tries to help, but it falls, and a strange rock lands on its head.
Did you notice how like all of Team Pikachu were like freaking out trying to save Togepi and the Exeggcute, and then the forest Pokemon are just kind of sitting around. Like eventually, I think it might be the Machop comes up and finally decides to grab them. So then the others are like, "Oh, I guess I'll help."
Yeah, they see their lighter Pokemon friends get carried off by the wind all the time. They're used to it. The Snorlax from earlier, who just wanted some peace and quiet so it could nap, grabs Pikachu, and for a moment it seems like everyone is saved. That is until some fruit goes flying by and Snorlax becomes tempted. It grabs at the fruit and lets go of Team Pikachu, who flies away. Pikachu, dragging the ground since it's the last in line, manages to hold onto a branch with its teeth, giving Snorlax just enough time for a little snackaroonie before it catches Team Pikachu again.
I will say, watching Pikachu being pulled by its teeth actually made me grimace. Like that looked like it hurt.
Ugh. It pulls the Pokemon back down to the ground one by one, but Bulbasaur's vines weaken. Pikachu leaps into the air and grabs onto Bulbasaur's vines and the nest at the last second. Finally, Snorlax pulls everyone to safety. Good lord, that just like never ended. It was like one thing after another. It's like one heart attack after another. Conveniently, the sky is clear and a Dragonair, was that a Dratini or a Dragonair?
It was a Dragonair. You put Dratini. I corrected you.
Okay, thank you. You gotta let me know when you correct it, because now I was like second guessing myself. Conveniently, the sky's clear and Dragonair flies through the air below a beautiful rainbow. In the distance, I can hear some doofus complaining about how Pokemon is woke now. Wokemon.
You also forgot to mention that a Chansey just walks up out of nowhere and just pulls Execute from its pouch. So this whole time we were looking for it, and the Chansey had it all along.
Everyone is super stoked to still be alive. A Pikachu and Togepi hug, and Execute begins to dance around the rock that had landed on Psyduck's head, which turns out to be a leaf stone. And I never thought I would care about an Execute evolving into an Exeggutor, but here we are. Jeff, can we get a quick soundbite of Exeggutor's cheers?
Exeggutor, 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 Exeggutor.
Finally, Team Pikachu must say goodbye to their forest friends, so they wave goodbye and head on their way. Jeff, can we also get sound of their goodbyes? Some of them are fun.
So, did you think that was Ash's Snorlax the whole time?
No.
Oh, so I did, and as they're leaving, he is waving goodbye as well. So I'm like, okay, it's a wild Pokemon. I don't know. For some reason, I thought it was Ash's Snorlax.
Yeah, we would have seen the Snorlax going down to the sphincter of the forest if it had been Ash's.
Would have got stuck in the sphincter.
In a faraway stream, Meowth floats to the top, clearly over this misadventure. At sundown, which seems like terrible planning on Team Ash's part, they wake up wondering where the Pokemon went to discover them all swimming in a nearby lake, surely cleaning off all the poo-poo and pee-pee they got on themselves from the number of times they nearly died in the short. And that takes us to the end, Jeff.
And so, what were your thoughts on this episode?
So, I actually loved this one a lot. Pikachu and Elekid's bromance, or pomance? Pokemance? I don't know what you call it. The sheer number of Pokemon shown was great. The art direction was awesome. Everyone got a chance to shine. So I'm going to deduct a half a point for having Team Ash in it at all. But this one gets a 9.5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on this one. This was a very fun episode. I wish more of Team Ash's Pokemon could have been in it. Like, they had a few, but I understand they didn't want to bloat it even more by adding more people. But as you said, the art style was great, what they could do on a budget, and I really enjoyed this episode. I would say I'm going to deduct another half a point, so 9 out of 10 because of Meowth. I don't think Meowth needed to be in it.
No, definitely not. Or Meowth should have been with the group the entire time.
Yeah. But then I don't know if I would have liked the whole, if he could, because he could just talk and explain everything.
Yeah. True.
Which I guess they did in the Japanese version. But yeah, so that leads us to our question of the week, which this was kind of a fun one I thought of based on this episode and all the stuff that happened. What's a situation where everything kept getting worse in the funniest way possible?
Oh, I would need to think about this one.
You want to think about
You
this
should
one?
have sent me this one earlier.
Sorry. I have a really good one if you want me to tell my story.
Yeah, go for it.
So this is back when I was in college. And so there's this restaurant in the Midwest called Perkins. I don't know. Do you have Perkins in Alabama?
We do not.
Okay. It's just like one of those 24-hour diner type places. And so
it's like a Waffle House, but not nearly as good.
We, as a group of friends, we would go to Perkins, but the rule was it had to be like late at night. I don't know why. That's just what we did. Like, we had to go around midnight.
For sure.
So first of all, I went with Tyler, former co-host of this podcast, and some friends. We're at this, it's like midnight. We're ordering food, and we all get our food, and then the waitress gets up and she goes, "Can I get you guys anything else?" And then one of our friends who is sitting there looks at her and goes, "Yeah, can I get your number?" We all just give him a look, and he's like, "What?" And so that's when it started. So then, fast forward, it's time to leave. Also, I should mention when he said that to her, she looks at her and goes, "I have a boyfriend?" Question mark and everything.
She wasn't sure.
Yeah. And so, again, we go to leave. Tyler and I get in his car. Tyler's car will not start.
Oh, no.
And so we call his roommate to come and help us because everyone else had left at this point. We call his roommate. His roommate comes and jumps the car. We're like, we were gonna run to. So by now it's like 12:30 or so. We were gonna run to Walmart before we went back to our dorm. And so we asked, we're like, we should be able to go to Walmart. He goes, yeah, just take the long way, to give it time to charge.
Uh-huh.
And so we go to Walmart. There's a group of us at Walmart. Lose one of our friends. Found out he was in the bathroom for like 20 minutes.
After the Perkins.
After the Perkins, yes. We get out of Walmart, go back to Tyler's car. Again, it will not start.
No.
So now we're stranded at Walmart, and it's like 1:30 at this point.
Ugh.
And so we call his roommate again, who has to again go back to his car and drive to Walmart to get us. And he goes, and we can't figure out, this time it won't even turn over. We can't get the car to start. So we're like, well, he goes, so I can bring you home. Now, let me describe this. I do not know the type of car. I'm not a car person, but I can tell you what this car looked like. It was a beater. It also, it was a two-door car, and the back seats were bucket seats. So this car could, how most cars can sit 5 people?
It was dragging the ground.
Yeah, it can only sit 4 people, and we had more than the 2 people enough in the back. We kind of had to pile in. As we are driving home, we hear so I'm in the front seat because I'm the biggest, and it was and so I'm like crammed in front. My seat's all the way up so everyone can fit. As we are driving home, we hear thump, 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 thump. We're like, what's going on? It gets better. So we're at a stoplight, and Tyler's roommate goes, Jeff, can you see what's going on? So I open the door, but I am so crammed in the front seat, I cannot turn to look. And so I go, no, I can't see anything. He goes, okay, shut the door. At the exact time, this gets good. He says, okay, shut the door. My roommate, Matt, who is sitting behind me, goes, I have clearance. So I grab the door and I slam it shut as he's sticking his head out.
Oh.
The next thing I hear is crunch, and then him just screaming because I slammed the door right into it.
Was he okay? Did he have brain damage?
He's still alive. He has 2 kids. I was the best man.
Do
in
his kids
wedding.
have brain damage?
They're all doing good.
Okay, good.
And so we finally get to the dorm, but again, we're like, fine. We get to the edge of campus, and we just tell Tyler's roommate, we're like, just drop us off.
Yeah.
So then we had to walk all the way across campus to our dorms, and by this time it's like 2:30 in the morning, just holding our groceries. And yes, that was my story.
That's a great story.
It's one of my favorite stories from college.
I'm glad you have a good one. Well, yeah, all of my stories that would fit this one are also from college, but I cannot tell them on the air.
Okay, well, if any of you have a good story, it doesn't have to be as elaborate as mine, but if you have a good one, just let us know. I would love to hear your funny stories because this is one of my most vivid memories from college because, as I said, everything just kept getting worse in the funniest way possible.
I'm sure you were pissed in the moment, but now
it was funny. It was not a fun night. I'm pretty sure Matt went home mad at me. They tell you to never go to bed angry. We were roommates. I'm sure he went to bed angry that night. But hey, we're still friends. I was the best man in his wedding. We made amends. Our other friend did not get that girl's number, though.
That's why he was in the bathroom for 20 minutes.
And we never... Actually, later, we're pretty sure we went there again, and she was the person, and we sat there for like 30 minutes without anyone helping us. And we're pretty sure it was because she saw us and refused to go out there. We all got free shakes out of it, though.
Nice.
Okay, but don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at Pokemon Snapshot or send us an email at thepokemonsnapshot@gmail.com. You can also find us on YouTube and TikTok. Just search for the Pokemon Snapshot. We post short clips on both platforms. If you'd rather watch the full episode, the complete video is available on our YouTube channel. And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a rating on your favorite listening app so other Pokemon fans can discover the podcast. All right, Josh, you have anything else to add?
Nothing of substance, Jeff.
All right, so please join us next time when we will be watching Pokemon the Movie 2000, The Power of One.
In a